Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Hey man, another week, NFL week in the books, week 13. It's time to overreact. Before we get into all that though, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell if you like, and comment and all of that. Let's have some conversations, man. It's time to overreact. Week 13 Week 13 is officially in the books, and it's time to react to some of these games. I only watched probably about 2 or 3 or 4 maybe, and the end of some of them. Yeah, so yeah, I watched probably 3 or 4 games. So I'll give. I won't talk too much about what happened in the game, more so just the reaction and or the outcome, and how it looks. I don't have no script. I'm just going off the top, really. I'm just going off the top. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with. Let's just go top down. Sunday, December 6th. There we go. Okay. First game, Saints and Falcons. Saints at Atlanta. Saints win 21-16. This was one of the games that I watched. Probably my most. No, I don't know. I don't know if it was my most watched game, but probably I watched probably more than half of this game. But yeah, the Saints take it 21-16. It was a relatively close game. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I think the Saints dominated the game for the most part. It wasn't really that close. Never in any point in the game that I think the Falcons were going to make a comeback or of any kind. They did kind of make it close. They only lost by 5 at the end of the day. That's more so garbage time. But the Saints 10-2. So kind of further solidifying their spot at top of the AFC. The NFC, the NFC, the whole conference. I'm all over the place right now. Hold on, let me slow down. The Falcons are pretty much out of the playoff hunt. We saw Taysom Hill throw his first two career passing touchdowns. Taysom Hill is a solid stand-in for Drew Brees. He's got the arm talent definitely to make the throws that he needs to. I've seen him make a lot of tough throws, throwing in the middle of the field, throwing at the sideline. He obviously has Michael Thomas, a big target. And when he's running down the middle of the field, he can just kind of throw it up to him. And most likely he'll get it. So they're tailoring the scheme. Pretty well towards Taysom Hill. I mean that's to be expected from Sean Payton, kind of an offensive genius. But he's making the most out of Taysom Hill's throwing ability and his running ability. Still incorporating a lot of the what is it called, the RPOs, and using his athleticism and his mobility to their advantage. So the Saints, I don't know how much longer Drew Brees is out. I think they have Taysom Hill probably next week, and then we'll see after that. But yeah, I honestly, if I was a Saints fan, I would not be too mad if Taysom Hill had to play a playoff game or two. Just because he looks pretty good. He looks solid. He's not really turning the ball over, and he's got a lot of dynamic to him with his mobility. So, Saints, obviously, they still have that dominant defense. They pretty much shut out the Falcons for the most part. I think they only had 3 points or 6 points or something like that, all the way up until the third or the fourth quarter. They only had 9 points up until the fourth quarter. So that defense is still dominant. Yeah. And as far as the Falcons, obviously out of the playoff hunt. What is there to be said? This team is again another disappointment. So talented offensively, defensively. They have talent on defense. They have a lot of speed. I like Keanu Neal. I like their what's his name? Their middle linebacker. Oh damn, what's his name? It's not Keanu Neal, right? It's somebody else. Hold on, let me figure this out. Depth chart. Deion Jones. I love Deion Jones. I think he's one of the best in the league. AJ Terrell also had a tough matchup. He was matched up on Michael Thomas, so he kind of got torched a little bit. Young Ho. Don't forget about Young Ho. Young Ho Koo is knocking some of them field goals in. If there's any somewhat kind of bright spot, I guess, is they have a kicker. So other than that, not much to say about the Falcons. We'll see how they finish out the year. They're probably going to give some of these NFC South teams a run. Probably give them a little bit of trouble of securing some home field or whatever. But that's about it. That's all you can really expect out of them. Another disappointing season. Sucks, man. I always predict the Falcons to be solid because their offense. Matt Ryan is a decent quarterback. He's not and top tier. He's a mid tier kind of quarterback. Closer to mid tier, closer to top tier, almost borderline top tier. But he has a lot of weapons around him, and he can get them the ball. And then they have Todd Gurley, who Todd Gurley wasn't even really playing this game because his knee. I guess he's having a knee issue or whatever's going on. Todd Gurley does not look like the same person, and that sucks, man, for him to go from that dynamic player in LA to what he is now, which is kind of barely like a number one running back. So, let's move on to the Lions and the Bears. I didn't think this game was going to be this close. I didn't watch this game because I wasn't even really interested in this game, to be honest. Was this like a close game or something? Matt Stafford threw for 400. Mitchell Trubisky had a Mitchell Trubisky game, 267 and a touchdown. Didn't throw any picks. Maybe he got sacked twice, so I don't know. But I don't know what else. I don't know what to say about this game. Neither of these teams are in a playoff hunt. Detroit just got rid of their quarterback. They just got rid of their head coach. What's the name? Matt Patricia. So they're in the runnings for a new head coach. As far as the Bears, the Bears started off 5-2. They lost their last 5. They lost their last 5. Yeah. So I expected that pretty much. I didn't think the Bears were going to be anywhere close to the playoff hunt, even at 5-2, 4-2. So about what I expected them, and the Lions about what I expected. David Montgomery had a solid game. Whatever. It is what it is. Next game, the Brownies, man. Oh my goodness. Let me go to the box score. The Browns, 41-35, destroying the Tennessee Titans, and it wasn't even that close. It was a lot of garbage time. The Titans scored 28 points in the second half. Cleveland only scored 3, but Cleveland scored 28 points in the second quarter. Man, what? Cleveland was on one. Baker Mayfield was on one this game, bro. Last week I was talking about how he needed to step up and kind of he just needed to play better, and he definitely performed. Has 4 touchdowns. He was smart with the football. Didn't even take a sack. And stop. I hate when it does that. Didn't even take a sack, man. No picks, no sacks, and 4 touchdowns, man. That's you get that from your quarterback. You having a good day. You having a good Tuesday, or good Monday, or whatever you want to call it. So Ryan Tannehill didn't have a bad game. He threw for Ryan Tannehill. That's what I like about him, man. I was a Ryan Tannehill doubter, man, but he 389, 3 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Still had a solid game. Derrick Henry was pretty much neutralized, only 60 yards. So they did a good job, and they didn't even get too much production from their running backs. It was just all Baker and his weapons. So it's good to see Baker. Hopefully he can keep it up. That's going to be the key. That's going to be the next step for Baker. If he can continue, he doesn't have to go and throw another 4 touchdowns, but he does have to be solid. Keep the turnovers to a minimum. Make smart decisions, and and that he'll be fine. When you're at the quarterback position, I think a lot of coaches just want you as long as you don't make smart decisions and don't turn the ball over, I think you'll be fine. I think it'll be fine for the most part. Obviously you got to score touchdowns and hit your receivers, but I think those are to me, those would be like the 2 things that I would see. Just protect the football and make a smart play. So the Cleveland Browns are 9-6, well within the playoff race. They're gonna make the playoffs. They are they're right on they're not right behind the Steelers, but they're there, and they're definitely going to be a problem for the Steelers. Steelers have had a kind of a cakewalk schedule. 11-0 is impressive regardless. I don't care what you want to say. Winning 11 straight games in the NFL is not easy, no matter who you playing. Cleveland's definitely gonna give Pittsburgh some problems when they play. I'm pretty sure they have at least one more matchup before the playoffs start. So that's gonna be a fun game to watch. And as far as the Titans, a lot of people have kind of losing a little bit of faith in the Titans. I'm not, because I still think they have that recipe for the playoffs. The run game, they have a heavy run game. They have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over a lot. And they have a decent defense. They're not top top rated defense, but they're good enough to where they're not, you know what I'm saying? They just gave up 41 points, so it's kind of weird saying that, but they're not to the level as it's not like oh my God, they have a problem at the run, they're stopping the run, or they have a problem stopping the pass, or I don't think they have any glaring issues. I think they'll be able to sustain something kind of like a bend but don't break type of thing, but yeah, I'm not giving up on the Titans. They have their recipe for the playoffs. I think they're still well within the race. So just they ran into a hot Browns team, and that's just what it is. It's the NFL. Sometimes you run into a buzzsaw. Next, the Dolphins beat the Bengals 19-7. Dolphins are 8-4. Dolphins are well within the race too, man. And let's go to the box score. Let's see. This game was kind of started off slow, but Tua did a good job. Also, just being effective, not turning the ball over, making smart plays. It looks like, one touchdown, almost 300 yards. Tua is solid, man. I like what I'm seeing from Tua. They had the run game popping a little bit too. Yeah, I mean the Miami Dolphins have a top 10 defense. Yeah, I didn't see that. I never would have thought, but Brian Flores has those boys playing, man. I think this is the team. This is the team that's just a together team. There's always like a team that's together, and they're you know what I'm saying? This is the team that's just like, they're not loaded at any position. They have talent, but they're not like, a super team. But they are just together, and they play together. And it reminds me of, in the NBA, it reminds me of that year that the Sixers were really good with Andre Iguodala leading them. They weren't a team that had a lot of superstars. They just had Andre Iguodala and a lot of role players around him, and they were just solid. They were just a solid together team. This is what that reminds me of. They play a lot. They play good defense. They got a smart quarterback to make smart decisions. I'm looking at the highlights of that fight that went down when that Bengals player hit Jerian Grant, I think it is. Or no, that's a basketball player. I can't remember his first name, but Grant, the punt returner. Yeah, that was crazy. And then I think Tyler Boyd and Xavier Howard got ejected too, when they weren't really supposed to be ejected because it wasn't really like nothing like that. So yeah, that's the NFL now. They like to just eject you off of nothing. As far as the Bengals, I mean, they're competing for the top pick, I guess. Well, I don't think they need a top pick because they don't need, what's the name? Trevor Lawrence. They don't need him because they got Joe Burrow. But yeah, they're just bad. It is what it is. They're just bad. That's it. Nothing really to say about the Bengals. Okay. Come on, ESPN, load up. Next game. The Jaguars and the Vikings. The Vikings beat the Jaguars 27-24. That game was a little bit too close. If I'm a Vikings fan, that's a little too close for comfort for me. I don't like beating a 1-11 team only by 3. But the Minnesota Vikings have been off and on the entire season. That's why they're 6-6. They kind of been off. They've been hot. They've been hot and cold, man. Dalvin Cook has been dominant. As I wish this would just stop playing, man. Okay, let's just mute the whole thing. It keeps playing music and it keeps distracting me. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. If I'm a Vikings fan, I am concerned by the fact that I only beat a 1-11 team by 3 points. That would kind of annoy me, but they're within the race, I believe. I gotta pull up let me pull up another window. I gotta pull up this other window so I can see the conferences, so I can just stop guessing standings. Conference. So as of right now, they are in the playoffs, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They will be the 6th seed, so they're in the playoffs. They've made their way back into the playoffs somehow. They have a lot of talent. They just I don't know what it is with them. They need to I don't know what it is with them. Is it the defense? Is their defense just not doing what they're supposed to do? Giving up too many yards, giving up too many scores, or what really is it with this team? I mean, I didn't watch the game. I can't really tell. with the box score. So, yeah. I mean, I don't really have. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know where they're going. They're in the mix right now. I would, if I had to guess, I wouldn't bank on them making the playoffs. I would guess because they're just too hot and they're cold. They're hot now. They're probably hot next week, and they'll fall off a little bit. And the timing of it is kind of because we're almost at the end of the season, so we'll see. We'll see what they do. Jacksonville's well out of the playoff race, competing for that number one. They definitely would be in the market for Trevor Lawrence. So we'll see about that. I would hate to see. I'm not gonna say I would hate to see him because obviously that would be a good opportunity. That would be a great opportunity for Trevor Lawrence to just be part of an NFL team. But if I had to pick, I would not pick the Jaguars to see Trevor Lawrence play. I just think they're just too dysfunctional for me. They don't have too much talent, and you don't know about their front office. There's just a lot going on there, and a lot of players saying that there's a lot of players saying that they don't even want to be there. And they shipping. I think it was last year. They was just shipping. They was doing what the Dolphins did last year, they was just shipping people out. Like that's how they got rid of what's his name, Jalen Ramsey. They just shipped him out for nothing, pretty much. So, because he didn't want to be there, and a lot of players don't want to be there. So, yeah, that's it. The next game. Ooh, so, okay. The Raiders and the Jets. The Raiders barely beat the Jets. Almost gave the Jets their first win of the season. They played terrible. They did not play well for the majority of this game. Henry Ruggs scored them on the last second game-winning touchdown. Derek Carr played pretty well. They just didn't have the run game, and I think they were behind most of the game too. They let the defense was Swiss cheese. They was not. They had Ty Johnson. They had a guy named Ty Johnson run for 100 yards on them. Sam Darnold was running over people in the end zone. Yeah, man. And I think it looks like they probably gave up some defensive touchdowns too. Probably a fumble. It looks like they may have given up a defensive touchdown. I think so. Maybe the fumble. I don't know. Maybe that was what the RAC means. But the Raiders squeak away with the W. They're still in the playoff race. I think they're another team that's kind of hot and cold. I think they're always better when they have their run game going. When that showed in this game. Dang it! I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at remembering people's names. What was his name? Josh Jacobs was out. Devontae Booker was the lead back. He only had 50 yards rushing. So I think they got down. Their run game was non-existent. I think they're the team that's always better when they're running the ball effectively. When they're passing, obviously they were down the entire game. So they're tough. They're tough to put stock in when it comes to the playoffs, just because they're not as dominant of a run team as say the Browns or the Titans or the Ravens. So it's hard to put stock in them because then you got to rely more on Derek Carr, which he's solid, but is that really who you want to put your faith in when it comes to late game, probably in a playoff situation, maybe a playoff altering situation? Yeah, I don't know. But the Raiders will be an interesting watch next week. Who do they play next week? Maybe I should start saying who these teams play. I'm just kind of rambling. I'm really just like rambling because I like to talk about sports. Let's see who they play. They play cold. They got a tough matchup. They play that Colts defense that's top something in the league. They're like top 5 in the league right now, or top 10. So they're gonna have a tough go if they don't get Josh Jacobs back. And I'll probably let the Colts on that one. And as for the Jets, they're 0-12. They're probably going to get the number 1 pick. Man, it's tough to say if they should get Trevor Lawrence because I do like Sam Darnold. I'm maybe a little bit biased because I'm a USC fan. But I think Sam Darnold just has a lot of potential. I think he was just in a terrible situation. Adam Gase is nothing. The team is nothing. They have probably the least talent in the entire league. And he goes out there, he's seeing ghosts, like he said, and he's getting his ass whooped. So I don't know. I would like to see him in a different situation, What situation? I can't really tell you right now because I didn't really think about it. Maybe the Broncos. I don't know. Well, they got Drew Lock, so I don't. Maybe not. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. If they want to invest in Trevor. Next game would be the Colts and the Texans. I did actually watch this game somewhat, and the Colts dominated for the most part. The Colts dominated. It was tough to see. It was tough to see Deshaun lose like that with that botched snap. And he was like literally on the sideline. He didn't even go out to the middle of the field to like dap anybody up. He was on the sideline sitting on the bench like crying. Like that's the tough way to lose, especially when you're losing a lot. Because these players, it's different when you get into the league, man, because these players are the best at their craft when they come into the league, and they're so used to winning all the time. It's just like, when you're so used to winning and then you come to like a team like the Texans, and when Deshaun Watson first got there, they were winning, and now they're losing. So it's like it's tough to see a player kind of go through that because you're not used to losing. You're not used to losing. You're really not. Like you're used to winning all the time because you're used to being the best. So. But I think it was fun watching my boy Phillip ball. They dominated the run game. The run game was going with Phillip. I kept telling everybody, man. I don't know. I wasn't really telling anybody, but I was just like, I always had the notion in my head that Phillip Rivers was always going to be a lot better, just solely off the fact that he has the best offensive line in football. He does have 3 sacks, which whatever. He's going to get sacked. He's great offensive line, the best offensive line in football doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get sacked. But Phillip Rivers, 27 for 35. That's him. He's a completion guru. 27 to 35. They're in 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's Phillip. When he has time to throw, he's going to throw dots left and right all over the field. Jonathan Taylor showed up. They got some prediction from T.Y. Hilton. That was very surprising. So T.Y. Hilton finally had a game. It's good to see him ball, man. T.Y. Hilton, he's like one of my favorite players. He just hasn't been able to get it together. The Colts are an exciting team. I think they're gonna make a run in the playoffs. I think they're gonna make a run in the playoffs. I hope. I'm not gonna say I think. I hope they do. I hope they do. Just because Phillip's there, and they actually have a defense. They actually have a top 10 defense. So excited to watch the Colts play. Who do they have next? Let's go to the Colts. See what they have next. Oh, the Raiders. We literally just talked about them. All right, next game. The Rams and the Cardinals. I don't know. So the week that I'd said the Rams weren't, I didn't have faith in the Rams to really make the playoffs or whatever I said. It was something negative about the Rams. They won 2 straight. I think. Have they won 2 straight? They won last week, did they? Or no? No. They didn't win last week. No, they didn't win last week. They lost to the 49ers. The week that they beat the Buccaneers is when I started saying something, and then they lost to the 49ers, and then they just beat the Cardinals. They're top of the NFC. Where are the Seahawks? The Seahawks are what? 8-4. They have the tiebreaker. They probably beat them. That's probably what it is. Yeah, they beat the Seahawks. That's why. Okay, so the Rams are top of the NFC East right now. It's wild to think about, but I guess on paper they still are a solid team. They're just kind of that in between team because they have Jared Goff, who's mediocre at best. They have a lot of weapons. Well, no, I wouldn't even say a lot of weapons. I think Sean McVay he's working his magic with that offense, and he's got some solid players on there, and he's making them look a little bit better. He's making Jared Goff at times look better. Jared Goff sometimes can't get out of his own way, but there are times that he does look good, like last night, 351 a touchdown. He looks solid. So he's too hot and cold for me. He's not a consistent guy. That's why I consider him more so mediocre, because he does that and then he'll go and turn the ball over 3 times in a game. So he's super inconsistent. Until you can show me that you can do that, sustain that type of production, that's what matters to me. So the Rams are shit, man. I counted them out, and here they are, well within the playoff race. My bad, I was wrong. We'll see what they do though, because there's still a lot of football to be played. And then, do we have faith that this team will make a run in the playoffs? Probably not. I think the NFC is kind of loaded. NFC's kind of loaded. Like, yeah, they have a better record than the Bucs, but I would say the Bucs. If they ever had to run into the Bucs, I would put my money on the Bucs. They can definitely beat the Vikings or the Cardinals. They already beat the Cardinals. But any of the other teams like the Saints, Packers, Seahawks, Bucks, like I don't see them really beating those teams in a meaningful game. So not to say that these games aren't meaningful, but just to see, playoffs. So we'll see what they do. As far as the Cardinals, kind of what I expected from them. I think this is going to be, like I said, I think I said this last week. This is going to be that team that it's going to take another 2 to 3 years for them to be one of those teams. I still think they got a lot of work to do with their offensive line. And matter of fact, let me not even say that because I don't even know what their offensive line is. I don't know. I have no clue. I think they're still going to need a lot. I know they're going to need some work on their defense. I think they're going to need a Pat Pete replacement because Pat Pete's kind of getting old. And they have D-Hop. They have weapons. They have a solid running back. They're just gonna, once they get some skin in the game and they get some better players, veteran players, they're gonna be a force in this league. I think in the next 2 to 3 years. So the 6-6 they might not make the playoffs. It is what it is. I didn't have no playoff aspirations for them. I just thought they were gonna be better than last year, and I think next year they're gonna be better than this year. So I'm excited to see the Cardinals next year and the years down the road. It's not so much like now. Next game, Giants. The Giants, the New York Football Giants, man. They put it on the Seahawks. That defense, is legit, man. They put it on them. They neutralized DK. They neutralized all of those weapons. They had Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy was able to make something happen. He only threw for 105 yards. But he pulled it out. Oh, Wayne Gallman. I didn't see that. Wayne Gallman rushed for. Yeah, they had the run game popping. Wayne Gallman had 135 yards. Alfred Morris had 39 yards. The defense was just the Seahawks didn't score until 5 minutes left in the game. It reminded me of the old Seahawks. I remember the late 2000s, early 2010 Seahawks. They were that team they were early to mid 2010s Seahawks. They were always the team that's they didn't turn it on to the fourth quarter. They didn't start playing football till 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They'd be down 6-21, and then they would score 21 points in the fourth quarter. That was that team. That's what that reminded me of. 8-4, second in the NFC West. They started off so hot. And now they're just kind of they're kind of falling off. Russell Wilson is kind of falling out of MVP talks, which is kind of sad because I just saw a nasty stiff arm by DK. Oh Lord, that was disgusting. Oh my, DK is a monster. Anyways, the Seahawks are, their defense is just non-existent. Their defense is really what hinders them. They can't stop anybody. They can't stop anybody. They can't stop anybody. They have a lot of injuries. Chris Carson's been in and out of the lineup for their offense. Russell Wilson has, he's kind of, let Russ cook thing is kind of they neutralize his weapons and they don't really have much else. If they can't get the run game going, Russell has to throw. So maybe double cover DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett is the type of player that's not going to go off every week. He's probably going to have one big game, then he's going to have a 6-63 game like he had last week. And then next week he's going to have 15 receptions for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's not a player that's going to sustain that type of production that you want from a number 1 or number 2 receiver. And they probably hit DK with that double coverage and neutralize him to a certain extent. But Joe Judge has that Giants team. They have some serious defense going on over there. Oh, and they're number 1 in the NFC East right now. They're number 1 in the NFC East. So shit, that's it. They were at one point, I believe, they were 0-5. They lost their first 5 games. They won. So they lost their first 5 games. Then they beat Washington by 1, and then they lost 2 more, and now they haven't lost. And since then they haven't lost. So they're 5-7 at the top of the NFC East. The Eagles just lost. They slid further down They're third in NFC East. Washington is second. They're 4-7. So Washington has a chance to, you know, they're in the playoff hunt if they can win that division. I believe if Dak Prescott, even though they didn't start off good, they started off like 0-3 and they was losing they was getting blown the hell out and having to come back and score 30 points in the fourth. But with Dak Prescott, I still believe the Dallas Cowboys will probably be at least like 6-6 right now, and they would definitely be at the top of the NFC East with how this is looking. So, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. The NFC East is low-key like the most exciting division just because you want to see who. You know what? Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's just it's you don't see it often. You don't see it often. It's an entertaining division because whoever wins this division is going to be a team under 500 for the most likely. They're not going to win. They're probably going to lose. They got the Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, and Cowboys. They're going to lose at least 2 of these games. They're going to lose at least to the Browns and the Ravens. And they have a chance to beat the Cardinals and the Cowboys. So, yeah, they're probably going to be below 500 if they win the division. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. All right, so that's enough of that game. 3 more games. I'm already at 30 minutes. I'm just talking. I just like to talk. I need to start trying to shorten these down, but I start rambling. The Packers and the Eagles. The Eagles got their ass whooped. Packers, Aaron Rodgers, legitimate MVP conversation. I'm gonna say it again. He needs to be in MVP conversations. The man doesn't throw picks. He just threw his 400 touchdown, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be in talks, man. Like he just needs to be there. He just needs to be there. He just does, man. The guy, you're a quarterback. I'm gonna say it again, you're a quarterback. You're a franchise quarterback. He doesn't throw picks. He doesn't throw any picks, bro. He doesn't throw any picks. How many picks? He only has 4 interceptions. He has 36 touchdowns. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Not really much to say about this game. Carson Wentz still stinks. Jalen Hurts had more production than him. Jalen Hurts had better production. Well, no, they were kind of the same. The QB rating was similar. Yeah, they were pretty similar, but I think for Eagles fans, it was good to see Jalen Hurts get some type of playtime. I think just get Carson Wentz up out of there. I don't know what the hell going on with him, but he just fell off. That's it. Next game is, I believe it's that, Patriots Chargers. We stink. Chargers stink. I'm a Chargers fan if y'all don't know. I was watching this game. It got to 28. It was that after that, I think it was the kick return. No, it wasn't the kick return. It was the blocked field goal fumble return for a touchdown that I turned the game off. I think that's what made it 28-0. That was just embarrassing. What's the name? Anthony Lynn needs to go. Talking about there's no shot to make the playoffs. I mean, even though you are right, I think as a coach, you're never ever supposed to instill that type of mentality into your team. It's always got to be prepare for next week. All of that stuff. You know how it goes. If you know football, you play football. Never put that because this is what happens. The week after you say, "Oh, hey, look, we have no chance at the playoffs." Blah blah blah. These players go out there and they play like they ain't got nothing to play for. Like they're just out there playing flag football. That's what happens. Anthony Lynn got to go. Gus Bradley got to go. Special teams coordinator, we need a new one. We need new ownership, but I don't even know when that's gonna happen. It is what it is. The Patriots are still within the playoff hunt. They're going to need more consistent play out of Cam Newton for them to even be a factor. They get the Rams next week, and then the Dolphins, Bills, and then the Jets. They have kind of a tough next 3 games going. So, yeah, they're going to have to – Cam Newton's going to have to win at least 2 of these games by just being great. Dolphins, you can't count them out. And they're within the division. So, divisional games are always going to be tough. Always going to be tough, so – there's no short. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for them. We'll see if they can do it though. Don't really have too much expectation for them. Yep. Next game, I think it's the last game. that went down. If ESPN will load. The Chiefs and the Broncos. So the Chiefs no, let me not say, because I didn't watch the game, but I was following the score, and it was close. Like, they didn't score a touchdown to the third quarter. They was just kicking field goals. Shout out to Harrison Butker for getting me 17 points on fantasy. I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, I mean, they were kind of down. It was close, but you never really thought that they were going to lose. They're playing the Broncos. It was a tougher. I will say it wasn't, I guess, the blowout that I expected or a lot of people expected. So that's what happened. But that's, within the division games, that's what happens. Teams play each other tough within the division. The Broncos could have been 0-11 and they still would have played them tough just because they're within the division. It's always the teams know each other. They know the teams. They play them twice a year, every year. So they know, and that's what teams build for. Teams build their teams to win their division. That's how you make the playoffs. The easy way to make the playoffs is just to win your division. That's how they build their teams. They build where the Chargers and the Broncos and the Raiders are building their team to beat Patrick Mahomes and so on and so forth for the other divisions. So that's just how football is. I think that's it. The Broncos stink. We got a Tuesday game. The Cowboys play the Ravens on Tuesday. Hopefully they can help me get a win in fantasy. Washington, I think actually they might be playing now, huh? Because it's 2 p.m. Pacific. Oh, no, it's 2 p.m. Pacific. So that game comes on in an hour. The Washington football team and the Steelers. And then at 5:15, we got the Bills and 49ers. I'll just say Steelers win, and I'll say the Bills beat the 49ers, and then I'll say the Ravens bounce back and beat the Cowboys. Whatever. Those are my predictions. Hope y'all enjoyed a long video. I gotta start shortening these videos, but sometimes I start rambling about shit. So I'm trying to get better, but I just gotta keep doing it. I'm just in the mode of just doing it. I'm just trying to do it, and I'll figure it out eventually. But I might be trash. My videos might be trash for now, but check me a year down the road, and I'm probably gonna be I'm probably gonna be a lot more defined now down the road. So yeah, man. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, notification, comments. Tell me I don't know nothing about football, because you probably are, even though you probably don't know about football either. And I will catch you in the next video. I don't know what that will be, but I got some things cooking in my brain, so you'll see. I'm out. Deuces.